Now here's the stage facing Marcel Kittel and the rest today, just over 200 kilometres from York to Sheffield. And it's a tough day with 9 climbs on the route, the first and best named, especially with its French prefix, being the Côte du Blubberhouses. Keighley gets the intermediate sprint, Haworth gets a day off from dealing with the world's Bronte pilgrims, and Crag Vale is wrapped into the Ripponden climb before the big challenge of the day, Home Moss. There are 4 climbs inside the final 35 kilometres, the last of them in Sheffield itself on the murderously steep Jenkin Road. That's only 5 kilometres from home, so there's every chance of a change in the race lead today and gaps among the contenders if they're not careful.
Albacini in second place, but now this is now a very steep climb. It's a shame we can't see how steep it is, but the legs will tell you, and watch how they crack one by one on this climb. It is a real grovel and gets steeper.
Well, the rider on the front for Liquigas and Cannondale is really putting the hammer down. He's riding his own personal race here for as long as he can. Orica Green Edge are disappearing one by one. Albacini's looking pretty good. You know, when he rode the Tour of Romandy in April, he won stages 1, 2 and 4. He was almost unbeatable. Moving up now, there is Alberto Contador, and this is the kind of climb that he likes. Right behind him is Vincenzo Nibali. Chris Froome is in there as well. These big boys are coming out on only the second day of the Tour de France. So much they feel that this second stage is important. Up into 5th place. Look at Peter Sagan there, grimacing. He's got to hold on. He's not got the climbing ability of some of these guys like Contador, but there he goes.
Sagan on the right, but I think he suddenly realised he's mixed himself up with the heads of state in this race. Chris Froome has had to come up on the back wheel of Alberto Contador. On our right, Vincenzo Nibali has pierced the front. This is turning out to be a battle of the men who expect to be on the podium in Paris. And here we are on a little road in a back street of the city of Sheffield in Yorkshire. Contador heads them up Jenkin Road.
Well, it gets very, very steep, this climb, but you can see Alberto, this is amazing. But as you said, it's a little street in the back of Sheffield somewhere. Look at this. Vincenzo Nibali, Alberto Contador, Chris Froome. This is an amazing sight to see. Froome is down into 5th position. Sagan is fighting. He's probably turning himself inside out at the moment. Coming up there on the left-hand side in that red jersey, there is TJ Van Garderen.
Yeah, Van Garden's coming up on the back wheel of Jurgen van den Broek, the other rider in red, another man for the overall who loves the climbs. Peter Sagan has got to the front, and he's just showing up now as an attack, and it had to come. Chris Froome has launched it, and now that's going to cause a reaction, and it's caused a reaction too. But Contador doesn't have the kick Chris Froome has at the moment. TJ Van Garderen is trying to get on his back wheel. These are the names who will win the Tour de France in Paris, and they've come together at the front with 5 kilometres to go. Chris Froome gets the points on the top of Jenkin Road.
That's not important, it's the psychological blow. Look at this one more time. He felt the moment. He rides with feeling, Chris Froome here. Right onto his wheel though, almost immediately, was TJ Van Garderen. There is a little move going on the far side from Astana. Nibali is into 4th position. Fulsang moving up there. TJ Van Garderen in 3rd, 4th for Peter Sagan. Sagan will not hit the front now, Phil. What he wants to do is stay in a comfortable position if he can. There is confirmation, number 42, Jakob Fulsang from Team Astana. He will try and keep the pace nice and high if he can, because he's trying to set this up for the man in 4th or 5th position there, Vincenzo Nibali, the champion of Italy. What a finale we're looking at.
Well, the other American is also here, Andrew Talansky, whose teammate Slapter was the man that split the head of state away from the field earlier on today. 3.9 kilometres to go. Fuglsang is there, Peter Sagan is there, TJ Van Garderen, Chris Froome, Alberto Contador, Andrew Talansky, Alejandro Valverde, you name them. The top riders, we expect them to be the top riders in the Tour de France, are in this group. And now Sagan pushes on. Now he's not a pure sprinter, that's why we thought he would do well. He is a man, one of the few sprinters who can actually get over hills as well.
Well, you know, this man is a bike racer. He could actually sit in the group and wait, because he is the fastest sprinter in that group. But no, forget it. He wants to go out there. I remember in Gent-Wevelgem when he won that race, he was in a small group of riders. Look at the way he's going around these corners. This man can handle a bike. He can sprint. He can pull a wheelie at the top of a massive big col in the Tour de France if he wants to, but he wants to race right the way down to the finish line. He's not going to sit back and wait for the sprint. He really keeps the pressure on all of the time.
Sagan, Fulsang, Froome, TJ Van Garderen, Contador, Nibali, Alejandro Valverde, Jurgen van den Broek. They're the riders in the line. Now we've got an attack on the far side of the road. How long can they keep on countering the move? Because this, to me, looks like it is attack. It's Fulsang gone again here as we run along the banks of the River Don here in Sheffield. We're closing in on the finish. 2.5 kilometres to go. TJ Van Garderen has latched on to the back wheel of Fulsang.
I have a funny feeling that is Greg van Avermaet who's come out of that group there, because TJ Van Garderen is a little bit further back, but the reaction now is coming from Team Sky.
It is indeed Van Avermaet who's come out here. Former Belgian champion gets onto the back wheel. Jurgen van den Broek has come up into third place, looking over to see what's happening. Well, the gap is closing down again. This is amazing. A stage which is not seen as a mountain stage, bringing together for the win all of the contenders in the Tour de France. I think that's a respectful reply to Yorkshire for 2 incredible days of cycling.
Alejandro Valverde having a quick look across there at Peter Sagan. Sagan now has to be very attentive, because if somebody slips away in these final few meters, they could get to the big surprise here. It's Valverde starting to close it down, but Sagan, attentive as ever, he's up into third position.
This looks like Perrault has gone again here, but he's sat back. No, it isn't. Is it Bardet who's gone? It might be Romain Bardet on the left. It is. The youngster on the left side is a pretty sensational bike rider, but he's gone too soon. Now Nibali has gone. Nibali has launched an incredible attack. He's been waiting for this one. He's been hovering near the front of the peloton for 2 days now. Well, he suddenly found there's fresh air out there. He's gone at 1.8 kilometres to go, and they're all looking at each other. Vincenzo Nibali makes the move.
Well, this is a phenomenal move. Let's not forget, you're looking here at the national champion of Italy as he makes that move there. Peter Sagan is being caught out. They're going to actually try and bury Peter Sagan here, because he won't have any friends. They know just how fast he is when it comes down to the finish.
He won last Sunday in Italy. It was the championship of Italy. Is he going to win this Sunday in England? And it'll be stage 2 of the Tour de France, because they're all looking at each other. He might have that one moment of hesitation which delivers the goods to his doorstep.
Well, he looks over his shoulder. He's got air between him and the rest of that group, and he mustn't look back too many times now. They've lost it all now. They've lost the impetus here, because they know that in that group they have got Peter Sagan. Sagan is the fastest man in the group. It's a long, hard ride, though, for Vincenzo Nibali inside the final kilometre.
1 kilometre to go, 1,000 metres, even less for Vincenzo Nibali. He's hanging on in there. There's no more hills on this very hilly day in Yorkshire. He's on a flat approach to the finishing line now. They have got to work it out behind. Chris Froome is on the front down there. Sagan is shadowing him. Those hesitations have cost them the stage. Vincenzo Nibali is going to win this stage at 800 metres to go. Those legs must be absolutely screaming. Look at the time. 5 hours, 7 minutes. Now Chris Froome packs the sprint. He finished 6th yesterday. We've got the world champion trying to dig now. It's the white jersey of the world champion. The crowd have realised Chris Froome is making a chase to the world champion, but I think it's all too late. At 450 metres, it's the shades of the World Championship here. I don't think Rui Costa can pull this one back. He's just asked Chris Froome to come past him. Froome won't do that at this stage. 300 metres and 250. 7 days after winning the Championship of Italy, Vincenzo Nibali is going to win stage 2 of the Tour de France. They're still coming, but it's all too late. Chris Froome has got no support. They're trying to beat Chris Froome and not catch Vincenzo Nibali. The final kick for the line. The champion of Italy, his first days back in the saddle, is now the champion of Sheffield. He wins at the stage of the Tour de France, and I think that they cut away. It was Van Avermaet who may have got second place. We'll check that on the photo. Unbelievable, Paul, and what a great stage.
Well, what a stage to win, especially when you're the newly crowned champion of Italy. And that little time gap at the finishing line there, Phil, is going to give him the overall lead as well. But what a little bit of damage has been done on this second stage of the Tour de France by Vincenzo Nibali.
2 seconds was Nibali's margin of victory. Greg Van Avermaet was indeed second, Michał Kwiatkowski third, Peter Sagan fourth in the end, then Michael Albertini, Andrew Talansky and Bauke Mollema. TJ Van Garderen came in 9th. Contador, Valverde and Froome were all in that same group, Richie Porte being the last man in it. Behind him, Geraint Thomas lost 16 seconds. Simon Yates was 68th at just over 4.5 minutes. By the time the old yellow jersey rolled in, nearly 20 minutes down, the new one had already been presented. Not that Marcel Kittel looked overly upset to be out of the race lead the day after taking it. Vincenzo Nibali has never previously worn the yellow jersey in the Tour. He's never previously won a stage. Now he's managed both in his national as well as team colours.
Sì, sicuramente oggi è stata una bellissima vittoria, la prima in maglia nazionale tricolore, quindi sono riuscito a trovare il momento giusto a 1,5 chilometri dall'arrivo, un'azione solitaria, quindi ho fatto colpo doppio, maglia gialla e vittoria, quindi non si può essere che più che felici, ecco.
So here's the new general classification. Nibali leads the Tour by 2 seconds from 20 riders, starting with Peter Sagan. Greg Van Avermaet is 3rd, Michael Albertini 4th, Chris Froome moves up a place to 5th, ahead of Bauke Mollema, Jurgen van den Broek and Alberto Contador. Peter Sagan takes the green jersey, although I'm sure he'd have preferred to do it by winning the stage. Cyril Lemoine's efforts in the breakaway are rewarded with the polka dot jersey, which he has a chance of holding through the first week and down into the Vosges.